White Player Show. We are here at the Penn State Golf Course. I am joined by Big Keith Goon Conlon per usual. Today, we do not have Aeneas Hawkins with us.
We got to send thoughts and prayers out to Aeneas.
Thoughts and prayers to Aeneas Hawkins.
P&P to Aeneas. He's stuck in an elevator.
He got trapped in an elevator. Me and Goon got a text around approximately 2:30, 3 p.m. Our guy was sweating it out.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said it was starting to get hot. He was starting to take his shirt off. He said it was getting to be quite the incident. I think our boy got out of the elevator about an hour and a half into his predicament, and Aeneas Hawkins is now safe. So if
he now weighs 118 pounds.
So if Mama Hawkins is watching,
Mama Hawk, we got you.
He's all right, but he's just staying in Philly tonight.
Yep.
But that is all right.
He didn't make the show. He took a bye.
It's a bye week. It is a bye week for Aeneas Hawkins, but and it is bye week for Penn State. But it wasn't last week, man. That USC game. Goon, I got to say, that might have been the best Penn State game probably since Iowa 2017. A walk-off touchdown to Juwan Johnson at
Absolutely.
Iowa.
I mean,
I think that's
big of a win. I mean, give me a bigger win in Franklin's visiting career.
Yeah.
I mean, that
was, yeah, and to come from behind on 14 too.
I have to ask.
What you got?
Did you ever fear?
I mean,
did you really?
I mean, a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I'll say this: they were incredibly explosive, but I don't think their whole team. They're incredibly explosive, but they were never a consistent team. I think that was kind of the theme.
You mean that C?
Yeah,
I think they fooled us a couple times with a fake reverse and that type of thing.
Listen,
and
we've talked about how good of a play caller Andy Kotonicki is. We're talking about Lincoln Riley as their play caller. He's one of the best in the business. So you add the fact that Lincoln Riley is that good of a play caller with that speed that they have, that I think out of the teams we will face this year, the only other team with speed like that is Ohio State and talent like that and the playmaker position
that we play. Yeah, because watching that Oregon Ohio State game, I was like, that's your speed out there.
Yeah,
but the good thing about Lincoln is he might be available in the next couple months.
He's getting a lot of heat. I'm not going to lie.
He does. It's a pressure cooker out there, man.
Well, I mean, I do kind of feel from just talking about USC for a second. I mean, they're 3-3, and it's like each game they're that close. If you're a USC fan, I understand your frustration of where you're at right now after kind of how your season has went. Yeah. When we saw how talented they were. That was and Franklin said it when the game ended. That was a damn good team that we played, and we were out on the West Coast. And no matter how you spin it, Drew Aller came out after facing some adversity in the first half, and I mean, just balled out. I mean, he did his thing, almost 240 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, really just dissecting the defense. And I will say, we have to give a shout out. We're going to have Anthony Donkoh on here in a minute, but give a shout out to the Penn State offensive line. I believe 44 passes were thrown by Penn State on Saturday, 0 sacks.
And the man was clean.
He stayed clean.
That's all that matters, baby.
That is how you win a game, when that quarterback stays clean. Because I'll tell you, and this is what I even said this pregame, USC came into it saying, hey, we are not going to let Penn State beat us with the run.
Sure.
That is what they did to Illinois. They pounded them for 240 yards and just controlled the game. They came in and said, hey, we're gonna make them throw the ball.
Yep.
And
that's the mark of a good offense. The mark defense quarter is going to make a decision. Do you want to stop Alar or do you want to stop the running game? Because you can't do both. You're not going to be able to stop both. So it's pick your poison. Do you want to stop the run game and put 8 in the box, and then Drew Aller is going to have a big day on this? I mean, know I have to say it, but it's just 1994.
It is. I was going to bring it up.
We have a powerful run game with a powerful offensive line with a damn good tight end just working people. And then you have a great quarterback and great wide receivers, and it's like, the opposing defensive coordinator is going to sit there and say, okay, do I want Drew to throw all over me? Or do I want our running game to run for 300 on us? So it's like, pick your poison, just death by 1,000 cuts, or you want it done quick, and that's the mark of a great offense, and that's where we're going right now. And with Kotelnicki, with what he's doing with obviously with Tyler running him around in like 9,000 different positions. I mean, that dude didn't come off the field, I don't think.
No, and he is a straight up warrior. And I was just telling someone, I mean, that is why we call him Psycho T. because how crazy and how good he is on the field, and he just gets off the field. And we talked to him, we sat down with him a couple of weeks ago. He's just a normal cat. And so I think some people are asking, how did USC leave Tyler Warren open so much? How was he able to get 17 receptions?
I got to give you some credit, young man.
What's that?
I listened to you the other day.
You did? I appreciate it.
You broke it down very, very, very well. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So what I said in my USC pregame show was that no matter what, Andy Kotoniki and James Franklin will not allow a defense to take Tyler Warren out of the game. And you talk about a wide receiver, a tight end, a defense can then scheme for that and plan, how can we take this guy away? Well, when you're putting him at center, at offensive tackle, at quarterback, at fullback, at tight end, at slot wide receiver, it starts to get really hard to game plan for a guy. And he was just doing things that was making it hard for the defense to really stick on Tyler Warren. So, that is a full-on credit to Andy Kotoniki and then Drew Aller for obviously operating that offense. But Tyler Warren, when we had him on, he had just set a record. We had him on after Bowling Green. He set the single-game receiving record for a tight end here at Penn State. Well, now he has set
tied the wide receiver record.
I believe he tied the receptions record. He was very close
in the history of FBS. 17 catches, tied to the tight end record, and then he tied for most or the most yards in Penn State history.
He was Jahan Dotson set the most yards against Maryland in 21, where he absolutely just savaged Maryland's defense. If you remember that one in College Park, that was a fun one.
Was it a blackout?
They always do blackouts.
It's great though.
It's great.
They lost that one 59-0. And this past week they were an 11-point favorite over Northwestern and lost by 27.
I love to see it good.
Let's stop the blackouts.
I'm from Maryland. I used to go to the Maryland Penn State games as a Maryland recruit, technically, because you couldn't go as a Penn State recruit for an away game, just to watch Penn State. And I when I was a recruit, it was in that realm of when we beat them like 63-0, like 69-0. Just routing Maryland. So I went off on a little bit of a Maryland rant there, but it's fun.
My first college start was against Maryland.
Oh, how did it go?
70-7.
Oh, yeah. Back then too, huh?
Yep.
Okay, it's been that way for a long time.
They have one win against us, or two. Excuse me. What happened within the last 15
years? COVID can't count. That was a rough one.
Oh, that was the loss too?
That was a loss.
There's two plus there's a tie back in the day.
It's a tie?
There was a tie.
Damn, we tied Maryland. That must have been
the only coach ever beat. The only Maryland coach ever beat Penn State before the new regime, before the COVID loss and all that.
Right,
Who was the coach of Maryland?
Durkin?
Nope.
Bear Bryant. Yeah. What?
Yep. He coached them before he went back down to A&M and then
what year was
to
that?
Alabama. Oh, it was like the 50s. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Maybe even the 40s.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was Bear Bryant coaching Maryland.
All right, so Maryland's been bad for a long time. That is
Absolutely.
the consensus of our kind of our conversation here. But getting back to USC on Saturday, like I said, I think everybody was. I don't know how many people were seated for that ending. I couldn't sit. My heartbeat probably was going 120 beats per second.
My wife had you.
Per second. Shoot, forget it. It probably. Well, I was next to you. It was.
My heart rate was fine. I was temperature controlled about 38 degrees.
Well,
I was very well temperatured, so I was fine.
The Modelo was keeping.
I'm telling you, I didn't have that fear. I was like, all right, these guys got this. We got this.
Here's what I will say.
That's a credit to these guys.
It is the big guys up front that it all goes through them. But I will say this, and like talking about the offensive linemen, but also Drew Aller on that drive when it was 20-27. We just got the ball back. They scored to go up 7. There was about 5 minutes left, and Drew Aller marched down the field.
Yep.
He converted 2 fourth downs, 1 4th and 7, and then a 4th and 10 on their side of the field, where they brought some pressure up the middle. He escaped, evaded it, and threw a dime to Julian Fleming, who is someone that twice on both 4th down conversions. Drew Aller looked to Julian Fleming, and he came through.
Yeah.
I think that was
go back to Ohio State last year, Drew Aller, when he was a little shell shocked, I guess you could say, and he was off in the game, and he was after the game, and he was never going to happen again. You saw that young man mature into a grown ass man this past Saturday at USC.
Well, that's a really good comparison, and we haven't talked about that. Is that at Ohio State last year, Drew really had to pass the ball. They took away the run game
and throw 42 times.
They said you're going to pass the ball.
Yep.
Now, same thing happened against USC, and like you said, Drew has really grown up. and you can see it in his leadership and the way he carries himself. And it's just fun to see Drew Aller be confident and continue to grow into, you know, what looks like one of the best college quarterbacks just around.
Did you ever hear the Goon's rationale thoughts of watching a football game when it comes to offensive line play and defensive line play?
No.
It's when a quarterback gets sacked, how many of his offensive linemen are running at him to pick him off the ground? That means they love him. And then the guy who does the sacking, if no one's dancing with him or no one's cheering with him, they don't like him. So watch.
That's a good one.
I'm telling you, you watch a game and the quarterback gets sacked and there's like 15 or 5 offensive linemen running back to get him off the ground. That's their guy, and they're gonna fight like dogs to protect him.
Yeah, that's definitely our guys. I mean, they didn't have to pick us up off the ground last week.
That's the best point. We don't have to watch that if you don't give up sacks. So
you would know a lot about a quarterback not touching the grass at all.
This is true.
3 sacks all year for Kerry Collins in '94.
Yep.
All right, we just had to put that out there. Anytime I get opportunity,
he didn't get sacked from game 6 till through the bowl game. Clean.
All right. Well, it's good stuff, Goon.
But we weren't throwing the ball though. I mean, we're like a heavy option quarterback team, you know.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I think we are about to wrap this up here, and we're going to talk to Anthony Donkoh, starting right tackle for Penn State. This is a guy in his second year right now and absolutely balling out.
Yep.
And I have said this before. I don't mean to – I know Anthony's right here. I don't mean to blow up his head too much, but in a very similar scenario to Olu Fashanu, Donkoh came in the bowl game and got to play a ton because there were some guys missing. Same thing happened to Olu Fashanu in 2021 Outback Bowl. Came in, balled out, and you know the rest is history. Yep. Anthony Donkoh came in the Peach Bowl and has balled out since. So we're going to talk to him.
Nobody's going to know his name, and that's a good thing for an offensive lineman.
Exactly. You don't want to be known.
If you're known as an offensive lineman, you're not doing good.
Nope.
You're not doing good. They're calling your number out. They're going, come on.
Just like the air conditioner. You're only noticed when you ain't working.
That's exactly right, baby.
All right. We will be right back with more from the Blue White Players Show with Anthony Donkoh.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College.
I'm the Modelo recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
2 of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
You're tuned in to the Blue and White Players Show with Keith Goon Conlon, Aeneas Hawkins, and Landon Tengwall. Broadcasting live from the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses every Monday at 6 p.m. all season long. Special thanks to this season's sponsors of the Players Show: Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty, Turner Construction, Austin and Pam Schanfelter, Chris and Lisa Heydrich, Marco Rivera, and Sherry Lane. Now back to more of the Blue and White Players Show.
Yeah, good. Welcome back into the Modelo Blue White Players Show. I am with Keith Goon Conlon, and we are now joined with Penn State offensive tackle Anthony Donkoh. Anthony, congrats on the big win, man, going out to USC.
Appreciate it.
Good shit. Oh, excuse me. Good stuff. Sorry. You know, it was just now. The fist bump was out there. Anyways, all right. Sorry to everybody listening there. Anyways, so Donk, I got to ask, man, we just mentioned it. Obviously, you guys came away with a huge victory. I think some people are calling one of the biggest victories in a long time for Penn State, especially on the road.
Sure.
And coming away, dude, Drew doesn't get sacked once. What does that feel like when you go through a game and, you know, you get to look back at the tape? And obviously, you know what it is like the next day when you're watching the tape and you get to go in there with your head held high, knowing you guys did your job exactly correct. But what was it like just kind of experiencing all that?
It really shows like a testament to how hard we work and like the emphasis and like the little things that Trout like always push out and stuff like that. It's amazing not letting Drew like get sacked and let him be clean. And it showed in the game like how he turned it around and just went off in the second half and was able to do all the things that he did. And I'm just proud of us and how we performed too.
Can you talk to, because I know, we get inspired by like when your quarterback is fired up and like slinging it. Like you feel that, don't you? Would you say like does it get you a little inspired to like keep going and want to block for him even more? Like
it's just super cool to see Drew like being able to open up and like always getting the first downs or like when we need it in like clutch situations. I mean, like it's just so motivating. I know a lot of the defensive guys were coming up to us like after we keep scoring and like just motivating and stuff like you guys are doing a good job and we always got your back and stuff like that. And it's just like super motivating, like I said.
Yeah, man, I'd say like go ahead.
No, it's all right. I mean, I gotta ask every offensive tackle, offensive lineman, you gotta ask. You a run guy, you a pass guy? I mean, that's the ultimate question. I mean, what do you like? You like mashing dudes? I mean, what's the size? You say 336, but I'm like 338. You know, I'm hiding a couple tons here. You know what I mean? We're built a little different. You know what I mean? You're up top. I'm in midsection. You know what I mean?
I actually lost a couple weight. I think I'm down to 318 now. But
okay, there you go.
I love running the ball. Like, yeah, super satisfying running the ball a lot.
I gotta ask, like Illinois, what did that like? You guys just dominated them on the ground. I don't think there's a better feeling than that. Would you say?
No, I mean, like it's cool getting to pass the ball and like go for a whole lot of passing yards, but like running the ball and like doing what we did against like just taking like a man's will like that and like, oh my god,
you're gonna make Goon tear up.
It's just something different.
You had me at hello.
It's just something different about it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, we had the guys from the Fox Noon show comes on here a couple weeks ago, Mark Ingram, and he was like, dude, your offensive line is changing the game right now. Like you guys aren't just going out there making blocks. You guys are going out there with ill intentions. Yeah. And he said they're trying to fold dudes. I mean, literally fold them backwards is what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing to watch and just keep doing it, man. Because like I said, defenses are going to start coming at you. Like you saw last week, they were not going to let you guys run on them. No. It just wasn't going to happen. And then Drew stepping up the way he did, and then you guys stepping up the way you did. I mean, it all worked out in the end. But, just be ready for that the rest of the year because it's going to be coming. And, but then if Drew starts picking people apart, you watch. They'll start dropping more people back, and then you guys are just going to be running roughshod all over everybody.
Exactly. No, you're right. When you are able to be multifaceted on an offense, you are able to do a lot of things. And especially, I got to ask you, with Andy Kotonicki's creativity, we have seen you all over the place. You, Vanga, Ioane, just all over at wide receiver.
Have you played wide receiver in practice and fullback? I mean, if you let's like have a tryout and be like, oh, we could try that, you know? Put him in receiver.
We always gotta rep things out, you know.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Is it fun though to be kind of moved around? And I feel like when that happens and you're playing in an offense that's creative and it's working, you kind of play inspired. You have more fun and you're able to do more things and to the opposing defense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first off, I have to ask you about this. We all know the Nick Singleton block that happened against Illinois a couple weeks ago, where Nick Singleton pretty much decleated that defensive end that had probably a good 50, 60 pounds on Nicky. And you were the right tackle that was kind of just there. And it was like, so how the play works is Nick Singleton is supposed to kind of chip the defensive end just touch him a little bit to slow him down.
Knock him off his stride.
Knock him off his track. So Donk can then just go get hands on him and it's an easy block. What was going through your brain when he knocked him? I mean, his feet went over his head almost. Can you just take us through what was going through your brain when that happened?
The funny thing is like I forget, there was a clip in the NFL. I forget who the running back was, but he did the same thing to one of the defensive ends and cleaned him. And I was like, Nick, anytime we get a chip, I need you to try doing something like that. And then he went out and he did that. And I was just in shock. I was like, yo, what? I was not expecting him to like just put this man on his back like the way he did. Mm-hmm. And then I was just like, should I jump on him? Should I not? And I was just like, I'm not going to jump on him because I see people get flags for it. So I was just like, put my hands on him, whatever. And then he proceeded to catch the ball and then run over to whoever there was in front of him and got the first down. I was like, yo, I had to chase him down. I was like, yo, Nick. I was like, that's crazy.
I mean, it is part of the 5 tool of being a running back.
Yeah.
And that is, well before you guys, there's a guy named here, Tony Hunt, played in the 05, 6, and 7 teams. And he was like, he was one of the top 10 rushers. But I was always like, dude, he doesn't get enough credit because of what he does blocking. And Larry Johnson Jr., when he was a running back here, dude, that dude had ill intent when he hit. His mindset was, they're trying to kill me every play, and I have a free shot at one of these guys. He's going to take it.
Yeah.
And he took it every time, man. No doubt about it, But, I mean, I played a lot of football in my lifetime, and every offensive line coach will tell you that is your best friend right there. You go give that guy a little pat in the butt right there and say thank you, because nothing slows a defensive end down more than something like that.
It makes them scared.
Absolutely. They're like, where the hell did that come from? I saw it, but whoa. And you're just like, what's up, dude? Hey, come on, man. You're helping them off the ground. Sorry about that.
Yeah. The rest of that game, that rush is
absolutely.
It's just a little slower. Just a little scared. Just making sure that doesn't happen again.
Makes your life that much easier, man. Yeah. If they're sitting there, if their head's on a swivel looking for guys who are going to start popping from the sides, your game's easy, man.
It is. And you talk about, playing with some really talented guys. We got to talk about Tyler Warren. And you being the right tackle, you obviously get to play next to him a lot. What has it been like to watch? I mean, obviously, when you already got here, he was already pretty solidified. Yep. But I mean, to watch him just take over games now, what has that been like? And obviously, I think something that really goes underrated with Tyler Warren is his blocking ability. Yes. And you get to be on combo blocks with him. What is all that like, seeing Tyler Warren?
Oh my gosh, just watching him play is so exciting. Like when he decided to come back, his whole entire demeanor that he took this year has been completely different. And his camp was amazing, what he did in camp, and it's just his intent, and it's just showing and paying dividends to when we go out and stuff like that. Just watching him ball out, catching the ball, and again blocking wise, I mean, he's an insane blocker, just moving these DNs, helping me out too, on our combo boxes and stuff like that. And it's just super impressive to watch him do what he do. We call him the best tight end in the country, because he is the best tight end in the country, and he's doing amazing things.
He is. He's doing all
people
around.
Have no idea how much a good running tight end, a blocking tight end, what it could do. It sets the edge every time, and he's not just blocking people.
He's dominating.
He's dirting people, dude. He's flipping them. I mean, they have. I'm almost like. He's just so big, strong, and athletic, and he's out there. I mean, again, I played next to a guy like that where, half the time I'd be chasing him. Can I get a piece of this guy here? Dude, come on, give me a shot here, But you watch him, and he's a quiet assassin, like you say. He's Psycho T. I mean, he's on the field, he's a complete maniac, but then off the field, he's like, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are you guys doing for dinner? And you're like, dude, you just beat the crap out of like 13 dudes. Like, this is unbelievable.
Listen, I think Tyler. I can't believe I didn't bring this up when he was on. Many people do not know. I mean, Tyler has a very nice voice. He will break out in a show tune randomly, just out of nowhere. I swear to God, it's the most amazing thing.
We
Tyler
are telling
Warren,
some serious secrets out of school right now.
he is a unicorn. No. He likes it. He's a
what
he's
do
a
show
performer.
tunes like?
Just start singing. He's a really talented singer. I swear. There's a lot of stuff that you don't know. We don't know about our guy. So this is why we do. That's why we do stuff like the play.
You know what show tunes are? It was like country music, or is it show tunes?
It's like all of it. It can be. It's like a. I mean, he'll go tunes. He'll go country. I mean, he'll just give you kind of a show.
Dude,
sorry, I don't need to get sidetracked, but I mean, hey, he's setting records and stuff. You got to give him.
Our man crush on our tight end is pretty big right now. Don't tell him. Don't let him know.
Yeah,
he can sing too. Jeez.
I know. What can Tyler Warren
This
not
guy's
do?
a unicorn.
Everything,
Snap, catch, all of it. Dog. All right. So I mean, we're talking about obviously fantastic win at USC, but we always go back on this show and kind of
absolutely
talk high school recruitment, that type of thing. Let's just start out first with the kind of how did your high school experience go? When did you start to get recruited? When did you start to get offers? And when did Penn State really start to come into the mix?
So I really started to get recruited my sophomore year in high school. That's when I got my first offer from Virginia Tech. At the time, that was my favorite school because that was the area that I grew up in, and like Virginia's where I'm from. So
you're out west. I thought you were north.
I'm Northern Virginia, yeah. But
Okay.
I'm saying like just because like it's Virginia Tech, like I never liked UVA.
Okay,
I like
DMV. You're DMV technically, right?
Yeah,
Would you classify? Okay, DMV. Yeah. DMV is the best area.
I lived in Richmond for 6 years. I know.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, that's all right. No,
Yes.
no. I mean, Valtech. They were very, very similar to Penn State people. If you really know the people, the alums of Virginia Tech, a lot of people do a grad work here. A lot of Penn State people do grad work at Valtech. So very interchanging. The engineering thing,
interesting,
big time.
Okay,
and then the turf grass management stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, we
schools
very
big,
good at
very
that, huh?
big.
Oh yeah,
gotcha.
But
well, okay. So, anyways,
that's all right.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
No, I didn't know if he was from. He said he was from the area, so Northern Virginia guy.
Yeah, you guys lived in the same area. It's
Yeah,
it's definitely a good area.
Richmond is southern. Richmond is southern Virginia.
Oh, you're way down there. I see
Way
why.
down there.
I see why
A whole-
you're.
a whole- yeah,
actually,
a
you're right.
whole-
Yeah,
a whole
we separated a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Northern Virginia is a whole
Yeah, we're
different.
different, yeah, we're
That should be like it's like Western PA, Western New York, and New York City. It's a whole different world up there.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. That
basically a
makes
whole
sense.
different.
It is.
state, basically.
And then you go. Virginia's like ridiculous with how the state is broken. Western is very, very rural country, much like State College.
Yep.
And then you go out to the beach in that area, and that's like,
That's different. That's way different.
dude,
you know?
man, just players upon players like
Insane
producing out
talent.
there. It's unbelievable
Talent
talent out there.
powerhouse.
Yep,
It is. Yeah.
everywhere, every school.
So back to your recruitment, my
There
man.
All good. So
Yeah.
no UVA.
Yeah, no,
no
no.
UVA.
But like Penn State was always like my number 2 school. I always loved Penn State, just like the history and the culture behind it too. And I got my offer from Penn State my junior year in high school, and then I decided to come up for a visit after I got my offer, and then I came here and I fell in love with here. My mom I looked at my mom, I smiled, and I was like, I was like, I have to come here. Like this place is insane and stuff like that. And I was like, all right. And then a couple weeks passed, and then I committed here, and then I just shut down my recruitment like after that.
Nice.
So,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Now, was it NIL era then already? I mean, this is 2 years ago. So was there NIL money involved?
No, not for me.
Not yet.
No.
No, I think that's like fairly new now.
Yeah.
Like, that was
Oh,
kind of like
very
it was like just kind of last year the recruits started.
Well, I'm interested to see how the recruiting works with that stuff. But I mean, yeah. So you visited Valtech. Was JC Price your recruiter?
No, he was
Or was your O-line coach?
there was the online.
Okay.
But before,
JC was the D tackle, the D line coach I played with back in the day.
actually, you said who again?
JC Price.
Oh yeah, he was. I believe so. Yeah.
Newton D tackle, man. Dude played about that far off the
Oh,
ground. I
God,
played
yeah,
the
yeah.
Senior Bowl with
My
him. I'm like,
bad,
how the
yeah.
hell am I supposed to block this thing? And it's like this high.
Good dude though.
Bad dude, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
But,
you got here and you fell for it, just like everybody else did. You got here and you're like, this is the greatest place in the world.
Yeah.
But you said the most important thing, and that your mom loved it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
your
family. They all loved it.
because your official. I remember your official visit.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
It was.
There because you guys. I mean, we had a really good offensive line class. You, Alex Birchmeyer, Javen Williams,
Chimney.
Chimney coming in. Yeah, really good group. And I do want to talk for a second. I know we kind of went back to recruitment, but I want to come back to a second for the offensive line room. And I'm just going to talk for a second about this because when I first got here, that was a group that kind of got trashed on. And then when there was a finger to point after a bad game, it went at the offensive line. I feel like where we're at now, it couldn't be further from that. And, you are a part of an offensive line room that has great pride in what they do every day. Can you just talk about, number one, Philip Troutwine, number two, Nick Dawkins, the leadership in that room? You can't say Nick Dawkins out. Let's start with Nick Dawkins. Like, what has he meant to you as a captain, as a leader, almost as an older brother, that type of thing? What has that been like to learn from Nick?
Oh my gosh, like I love him to death. Like Nick is an amazing person. Like I wish everybody could like get to meet and talk to him and like hang out with him because like he was just like spit out the most like knowledgeable. Like he's a knowledgeable guy. He's so freaking hilarious. Like
I've never seen someone that can be like the team clown, but also like the team captain, and also the motivator, and
insane. Like he's like his own person. But like I love him that like the way he like motivates us as like a whole team, as like a unit and stuff like that for us to keep pushing. It's amazing. It's amazing to see. And then you don't really see, like you saying, like being all that, like there's not a lot of people that you can see that is going to be able to be like that versatile in how they do their stuff. But like the way he conducts himself is very impressive to say the least. I mean,
he definitely is a reason he is the team captain, man. And then talking about Coach Troutwine,
that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
he's built that room now,
dude.
Like Landon just said, it was pretty bare for a while there. We could have produced 4 or 5 at a time and this and that, rotated 5 or 6 or 7, but now we might be 8, 9 deep right now.
We got dudes and we got a lot of depth, and that's something that Trout really emphasized. And I'll just tell you, I remember
it's a huge thing.
2020, we lost to Maryland. We were just talking about this earlier. It was a bad year. It was Trout's first year as the offensive line coach at Penn State. I'll never forget him calling me, and he was like, "Hey, we're going to get this thing right." That's all he said. He was like, "I'm sorry, but we're going to get this thing right. Believe me."
He probably said it that night, right?
And since then, he has, and you can attest to this. I think he's the hardest working coach I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, like no doubt, no doubt.
He is just
crazy people, man. Crazy people.
Yeah,
always working. Always. Oh, man.
Yeah. No,
he's the hardest worker.
Like you see his mind working at all times. And you're like, Tyler, you gonna eat your dinner? He's like, start thinking about like blitzes and how to pick it up.
And he is always thinking about football and
always like trying to make sure that we're getting everything fixed, making sure everybody's right and stuff like that. Like his attention to detail is like no other.
That's it, dude.
His like preparation from his preparation standpoint is like no other. It's impressive to see like how much work that he puts in and stuff like that. I mean, like he's like one of the last coaches out of the building every day, and because like he's sitting there writing notes, like he writes notes every practice, after every practice, for every practice, making sure we're prepared, making sure that we know like what we're going to see, making sure like we have our third down plan, our first and second down plan, making sure that we know like who we're going up against and like all that stuff, like just making sure that we're prepared enough for us to go out to the game and not be surprised and not be shocked.
That's an offensive line coach. That's what he has to do.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see the most changes and most, what he's doing. His hard work is paying off for you guys, but it's the attention to detail and the little things. The old man used to say, take care of little things, and the big things will just take care of themselves easily. That's the truest thing. But an offensive line, specifically offensive line, that's made. He's going to put you in predicaments, and he's going to show something to you, and you're going to see it on Saturday and be like, dude, I got this.
Yeah, easily.
And you're like, this is easy. Like, I always tell the story, like, my first game, my first start was against Maryland. I'm in the bathroom throwing up. Ooh, all scared and all. We score like 70 points. I'm like, this is pretty easy. But, like, my senior year, there's a kid next to me, Jimmy Nelson, who played linebacker. He was like my little brother's roommate. And he's sitting next to me at pregame meal, puking. So well coached that there's nothing that you're going to see out there that you have not seen or been taught to compete against. Yeah. And I said, everything happens in slow motion. I said, it's the weirdest thing in the world. Because it's not slow motion out there. It's fast, but it feels like slow motion because we're so well coached and so well prepared for those games. And the game, it just gets easy.
Yeah.
It's just so easy when you're prepared and you're confident that you are prepared, then you can't be beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I mean, that's part of, and that's part of the reason why. And I think I can slightly attest to this too, of like me transitioning to a life away from football. not only does Trout come in every day and it's about football and that stuff, but he gives you the tools to be a great man. He always talks about, I want you guys not only to be great football players, but great men, great husbands, great fathers, that type of thing. Like that is what he's instilling in the players, not only just the work ethic through football, but also just something to instill in you for the rest of your life. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. Now, the last person we have to touch on, is coming. My man Frank Leonard, and anybody that doesn't.
This one's new to me here. I'm all ears here.
So Frank Leonard is a legendary coach. He was with Bill Belichick for a long time, scouting offensive linemen.
I know who you're talking about.
He's been around, and so he came in 2022, and he coached Trout when Trout was on the Rams. He was with him at Boston College, so he kind of came on as like almost an advisee assistant.
Correct.
Well, for the first year, there was specific rules that what he was labeled as a coach, he wasn't allowed to on the field coach.
Yes.
That has since basically been thrown out the window, and he is able to coach. So you hear him, just screaming at practice. I've never seen an old man have so much energy. But he loves you. He's like a classic, just Italian dude. He'll yell at you. He'll say the most curse words ever, and then he'll come over and kiss you on the head. Give you a big kiss on the head.
That's the offensive line play in a nutshell, man.
It really is. So he has just so much knowledge to share. But being in a room with all of those guys together, it is definitely a blessing. And Penn State and Coach Franklin has done a great job. Just I think putting the pieces around the team. When you think about the assistant coaches on our team, dude. You could just rattle them all off. They are killing it. They are killing it. Everybody. I think definitely Ty Howell deserves a huge shout out for what he's doing with the tight ends, just continually just pumping out elite guys. So it is.
Talk to, was it Leonard you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Ask him, does he have a mushroom shirt? Have you ever seen him wear a shirt that says shroom across of it? It's a yellow shirt that it's like a little psychedelic, say shrooms. So in the 80s and 90s, offensive line coaches in the NFL, they were known as the Mushroom Corporation.
Really?
Yeah, because hear me out here. Because offensive line coaches are like mushrooms. They're left in the dark. No one talks to them, and they smell like poop. So these offensive line coaches in the NFL used to have the mushroom shirts, and they all used to wear them. And that was that was the role of an offensive line coach. Like, no one's going to talk to you. You're going to go into the room. You're going to sit in the dark, and you're going to watch film. You're going to make it happen, and you're going to make the most of it. But no one's going to talk about you. No one's going to love you, and you smell like poop. That's the epitome and soul of an offensive line player and an offensive line coach. No one talks to you, but you don't want to be listened to. You just leave me alone, and you just go out and do your job. And that's the best part. Like I said earlier, the fact that no one knows everybody's names, it's perfect. Yeah. No one knows. No one talks about Shelp. All they talk about is our, guys coming in 385 pounds in motion, just destroying defensive ends. Like, that's fine. You go have that fun all you want. Yeah. You five guys up front, you guys keep doing what you're doing, man. Absolutely killing it out there, making this team look big. Any football team goes as the offensive line goes. Yeah. You're sitting here talking to three mutants right here, and that is the thing. It's like every good football team, if you can find me a championship football team that had a horrible offensive line, I'll give you $1,000. Yeah. And it's never going to happen. It'll never happen. Never. And then you guys are the backbone of this team. You guys are sitting there saying, you were saying the offensive line took a lot of crap back in the day. Because we had a lot of defensive linemen who they ran the locker room. But I bet you walk in that locker room right now, the offensive line's running it. And I guarantee you, Dog's running around with ripped out basketball rims, throwing them at people, telling people he's from Planet Lovetron, he's going to take care of them. You know what I mean? No, but I'm saying, offensive line is the heartbeat and the backbone of any football team. And keep doing what you're doing, man. You're making us all proud. We love it, Bubba.
Absolutely. Don, appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with the Modelo Blue-White Player Show.
WFXS. Once again.
Your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College.
I'm the Modelo recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day. even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
You're tuned in to the Blue and White Players Show with Keith Goon Conlon, Aeneas Hawkins, and Landon Tengwall. Broadcasting live from the 19th hole at the Penn State Golf Courses every Monday at 6 p.m. all season long. Special thanks to this season's sponsors of the Players Show: Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty, Turner Construction, Austin and Pam Schanfelter, Chris and Lisa Heydrich, Marco Rivera, and Sherry Lane. Now back to more of the Blue and White Players Show.
Hello, welcome back to the Blue White Players Show, sponsored by Modelo. I'm sorry, the Modelo Blue White Players Show.
Yeah, you got to put that first.
Yes, I do, and I apologize. So we have one of our other sponsors here, Miss Ann Lusk. So she came on the show. I've been begging her. She's a great sponsor of the show and a great sponsor of the NIL. We would love to start talking about the NIL. And before we get to the NIL, we have to talk about something you did in late August that not many people have ever had the opportunity to do.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Miss Ann, where were you August 31st?
I was a guest coach at the West Virginia game, and it was one of the best days of my life, beyond giving birth to my 2 children, of course.
Well, close second. Close second. We'll call that.
And
so how did this come about?
So I, again, have put my heart and soul into supporting the team.
Yes, you have.
She definitely has.
They are just the finest young men, finest coaching. They deserve the support from our fan base.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so fortunate to be chosen to be a guest coach. And truly, it was surreal.
Yeah. You were telling me stories, and I was laughing because I was like, yeah, that's sort of how it is. And we sit here and we talk about, you kept on saying, I cannot believe the transformation of these very well-spoken young gentlemen and the complete maniacs and killers on the football field.
They are.
And that's what you have to turn into. I mean, it's one of those,
Well, they're great student athletes.
Sure they are.
And what people forget is they talk about great students under Joe Paterno. They don't talk about great students under James Franklin. And there's some great students.
Sure.
And Franklin gives his heart and soul. He's a CEO, but he cares about each and every kid as a person.
Yep.
And he wants them to win. And what's absolutely mind-blowing to me is we're number 3 and our fan base hasn't given the support that the football team needs. Quite frankly, it's disappointing because if each one of them gave $10, and just if we talk about $10 from 750,000 alumni,
correct,
we would blow everyone else out of the water. And we are really excelling on a shoestring budget.
You're saying $10 one time or $10 a month?
$10 one time would even make a difference.
You're right. It would.
It would. It's about.
And it's a whole different world. I mean, it's a world I'm not part of, and it's a different world. But Landon, you have a little more experience with the NIL and how it's raised and what it's done, and I didn't have any of that stuff. So it affected you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it started technically in July of 2021, and it didn't really take shape throughout the 21 season. Everybody was kind of trying to figure out what NIL is. They were trying to make sure, because NCAA was such a scandal-ridden thing with Reggie Bush, all these illegal things that happened. Everybody was like, okay, I want to be ultra careful of not breaking any rules. Well, very quickly, we realized that NIL essentially has no rules. And so it's a very tricky situation.
And everything that was illegal is now legal.
Exactly. You can now have cream cheese on your bagel. If anybody doesn't know, that used to be a thing. You couldn't. And I had the legendary Steve Jones. I have him for class. And he came in today. He was talking about that, how you could have a snack. They could give the players a snack, which was just a bagel. But the moment that the team also gave them cream cheese, it became a meal. And that was illegal in the eyes of the NCAA. So needless to say, the NCAA is getting sued, and I couldn't be happier.
You're talking to I had lived that life, and I absolutely hate the NCAA because of what they had done and how we had to live, and we were taken care of. And don't kid ourselves, but what we should have been getting it's preposterous what was going on back in the day. And you're talking about an offensive lineman. I mean, you talked about. I talk about LeVar, talk about guys like Kijana and Saquon Barkley. They're like the 3 guys that and then I'll throw Capoletti in there.
Yes.
And how much money did Penn State make off of those jersey sales? Adam Telefero, number 43 jersey. You know what I mean? How many of those were sold? And how much money did any of those guys see? I think they saw none of that. And that's just one thing. That's just one thing. Let alone us going around and, funding everything on campus and this and that. And that was the Penn State way. But then, we didn't get anything out of it. I mean, Penn State, everybody enjoyed all the fruits of all of our labors and all of our pains and stuff like that. So as an old guy, as the old creepy person in the old school, new school, I'm happy these guys are getting it, but I want it done right. I want it done above, there are some things I would like controlled, and that would be almost like a salary cap rather than, just flat out just paying, I'll give you $10 million. I don't like that because that's just nothing more than what was going on in the 70s and 80s back in the day, and that's no different, but it needs to be controlled and monitored, I think, a little bit better because it's the Wild West right now.
It absolutely is. And I want to go back to kind of the beginning, and I want to talk about, from a standpoint of being someone that graduated here, you want to donate, that type of thing, you start to want to get involved. How did that process come about of you getting involved with NIL?
The truth, Rogers Alexander.
It's true.
In 1985.
The OG
Rogers. Absolutely. And he's told me that Fran Ganner's son, Chris, just got a new job with Lions Legacy for NIL. And I did a lot for fundraising. Could I help him out? And I said, I'd be delighted to make a donation. And my first donation was a donation that they paid players to go to the Boys and Girls Club. And because to me, the give back to the community was huge.
Yep.
And I think it develops them as young men when they're giving back at the food banks. I loved purse bingo. It was really hilarious to see Adisa like with a purse at purse bingo for calls. Landon with your books, men up front. I really saw sort of this entrepreneurial side, and I really was inspired by it because I am a child of going to school here in the 80s. I graduated in 1987, and I remember.
What a horrible time to go to school.
I know,
here.
it was amazing, but I remember not, some of the players not having enough money to go to McDonald's. They were waiting for CC Pepper's 25-cent cheese fries at 11 o'clock at night.
That was the one thing that always used to drive us crazy is like you couldn't go out. You had to go to the dining hall, and then like it's closed at 7 o'clock, and then it was like, dude,
we're still hungry.
We're still very hungry all the time, and that's like you're burning 50,000 calories a day, and you're eating 60,000. And you end up eating bad. I always talk about this. So, and then I do want to get into where you went from 1987 that where you're to the point right now of where you're at. But like I always used to it was the craziest thing to me, even when I was a player and then when I was coaching, is that the most important time in the football players year is the summertime because you're building your strength up, you're getting ready to go into a football season, and guess what? They gave you $400 a month in the summertime to go out, and then you have to eat for 31 days on that $500, and you got to pay your rent. You don't have dining halls in the summertime, and you didn't have points. They just gave you a check. So what does every football player do? You go spend 90% on alcohol, and then you go 10%. You're buying like the knockoff meat and the pastas, and that's all you're eating. You're eating pasta and like old chicken and meat, and just like trying to make it, trying to get along. And it was always like, this is the most important time for us. Why are we not? The dining hall should be open in the summertime for us. Everything was backwards. It was always a little backwards. So that's one thing I would have changed about us. But okay, so what happened? 87, we graduated here. Mm-hmm. We got here in 83.
83.
You did 4 years?
I did 4 years up here, main campus.
You wanted to do a fifth year. Don't lie to me.
I did, but unfortunately I had to pay my own way. Yep. So I really needed to graduate before. And
where we grew up?
I grew up in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. And
pronounced that way, by the way.
Lidditz, yes, not the other way. And I love Penn State. I was one of those crazy people that got in a Volkswagen diesel, like Little Rabbit or whatever it was, and drove across country with my sister to watch the Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, nice. You drove there.
I drove.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Because I didn't have money to do the upscale way. So it was diesel. So the gas was really cheap. Stayed part way at my grandma's in Oklahoma City. And again, I remember watching that game. And it was so inspirational. When DJ Dozier had that touchdown, I want to cry because it was like amazing that we were the underdog.
Yeah.
And we just came in, and Jimmy Johnson to this day still has not gotten over losing.
Don't you love that?
I love it. Every time I see him, I get so happy. And
me too. Then he fixes his hair. And you're like, ugh.
No, I think we got you, buddy.
I love that. Absolutely love that. So you got in the real estate game.
I got in. I was first a TV anchor person for KOUS, KYUS, and KCTC TV. And I got the job only because a Penn Stater owned the station, and my audition tape was interviews with the football players that won.
Oh, nice.
And my professor was so mad because he said, you had really good stuff and you're using this to get a job. I go, hell yes, I want to get a job. I want to get hired.
Well, I mean, my brother was on the 80. He was All-American 87, so I got to hear.
Right there.
Who were you talking to? I got to, because I'll know the names.
Well, Radisack.
Scott or Keith?
Keith, baby.
Okay.
Keith.
All right.
Okay.
Making sure.
DJ Dozier.
Gotcha.
Tim Johnson.
Brickhead.
And I'm trying to think of Greg Truitt.
Snapper.
Yeah.
Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah, he's there, and he got his power back yesterday, so he's really excited.
Oh, good.
And
ask Greg about the Conlon visit he made with my brother the one time.
I will.
It's hilarious.
I will.
He was the long snapper, and he came into the Conlon house for a weekend. And was like, "What the hell?" What's going on here?
Yeah, Greg's he's pretty straight laced, so
Yeah.
he was probably
Yeah,
scared.
he was a little freaked out, I think.
I wish I got to go to the Conlon House in college.
That would have been a while.
I know,
It's like
it-
Animal House 2.0.
You were there. You just didn't know.
Well, pretty much. I'm at the Conlon House now, but he's like, 50. So, and it's like, wife. The food's good, and the beer's good. So,
Absolutely.
I enjoy Goon's house for
This is
whether
very much so. And the cereal.
And this year, I did have a good bowl
He's
of
the
cereal.
only guy I know who has 2 hoagies and then
Uh-huh.
says to him, "Man, you gonna need cereal?" So have some cereal.
My freaking kids.
And then he walked out with 2 more hoagies. I was like, "Okay, man.
Sometimes
What's that stomach look like tomorrow?"
bloated.
Hoagie chased down with some honey bunches of oats. Woo-wee. So
At least he didn't ask you to make some cheesesteaks.
cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
I'll make
Because
some
he would need like more than one. He'd
Oh,
need,
yeah.
like the foot long.
I would.
Or the 5 foot long.
Yeah, shout out Campus Steaks downtown. They do
Exactly.
it up down there. And I do want to ask you, obviously, so I know you said you graduated in '87 and kind of went on. How did you get back connected to Penn State football? Like, how did that get back around?
Honestly, the truth, I went through a divorce, and my ex-husband and I went to this game, and it was my first game in years, and he made it so miserable that I said, when I get rid of him, I'm going back to Penn State.
There you go.
And I did. That's the truth. And I just love it. It was actually Keith Radasak was my neighbor in Lidditz. And Keith him and Elizabeth got me a ticket. And I was so happy. I felt like I was home. And that feeling, I wanted to do whatever I could to help Penn State football because it was the best memories of my life in the 80s. That's the reason I went here. I had full scholarship somewhere else. And my dad took me up in January near my birthday. And I saw the 1982 parade. And I saw Franco Harris, who I was the only girl in 3rd grade with a Pittsburgh Steelers jacket and a terrible towel. And I said, Dad, I don't care about that scholarship. I'll work 3 jobs, but I'm going here.
Beautiful.
This is
That's
my
awesome.
place. And I had numerous jobs before I got into real estate where I am now. And the big reason I got into real estate is because I'm highly self-disciplined. And if it's to be, it's up to me. And real estate, like I tell the young women today, when I was in the world, the men made this and I made this, even though I worked 5 circles around them, quite frankly.
I love it.
I felt like real estate was the one thing, the great equalizer, because I was willing to work really hard. And I love my clients and I love dedication
Yes, you
to
do.
my
I noticed that at the
craft.
Marty Lane party.
I do. I love Marty.
Yeah, I mean, went
Great
down
guy.
there and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And you're like, "Well, they're my clients. These are my clients. They're my clients. They're my clients. They're
Yes.
my clients. They're my clients." And that's a beautiful thing.
In fact, today I was walking from the parking lot to go to Lausch, and I ran into a client that's done business with me several times, a family from Lancaster, and the kid goes, "Oh my gosh, this is my sign. I have to go here." I said,
now you're a
"Absolutely it
recruiting
is."
boy now. There you
Yes,
go.
You're a
it-
people sign. There you go.
All right. So before we get off the air, explain the West Virginia thing.
The West Virginia thing was the greatest, to be on the sideline.
You didn't just do the sideline.
No.
You did the
rode on
hotel, the
bus,
pregame meal, the
hotel,
bus.
the pregame meal, and the best part was the hour delay or whatever in the tunnel. People are like, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "This is the best time of my whole freaking life. Are you kidding me?" They're bringing me a little sandwich. I'm seeing the kids. They're walking around.
You were on the sideline for that game.
Yes.
God bless. That's
And it
amazing.
was the greatest. And then I was freaking people out because I'm like, I just need Amari Evans to catch a pass. This kid is so good. He has so much talent. He just needs to catch it and gain that confidence. And when he did, they're like, it was the next play. They're like, "Oh my gosh, are you a witch? You called that?" I was
Coach,
like,
you're listening to you.
I was like, no, because I see these kids, I've been to a couple practices and I see these kids develop. And just like last year, I was watching Drew Aller in practice and I thought, this kid's a rock star.
Yeah, I saw
He's a
draft
rock
projections today,
star.
by the way.
What?
I saw draft projections today. Somebody released that Aller going 2.
Wow.
Warren going 19 and Sutton. Did he say?
What about
going
Abdul?
like
Abdul,
Incredible.
we could have
I don't know. Maybe I missed Abdul
this.
one there.
This
Or
could
maybe they
be.
haven't.
We could have a lot of guys go in this first round of this draft this coming year. We're about to get out of here, and I
Yep.
just, I as you said earlier, I was
Love you.
around.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And like I said, I want
What
to say
about the
thank you
kicker,
because.
baby?
Oh yeah,
Yes. We get one more extra minute, AJ. One more extra minute.
We got to talk about this. And we are Brian Barker, for those that do not know, he was 4 for 4 on Saturday, game-winning kick in overtime, clutch. He is a walk-on, which means he pays to attend classes here at Penn State after, I think, just giving every Penn Stater in the entire nation that was watching, got to party that night because of Ryan Barker. So I'm turning over to you, Ann. What do you have to say?
So I am challenging each and every one of you. I will match up to $10,000 towards money for the kicker, a scholarship for the kicker.
I love it.
And I feel like, put your money where your mouth is. I am so thankful for this young man having the guts and tenacity to get tortured, work his butt off, and go to school and pay for it and put on a performance like that. Match me, baby.
I love it. We will have more info. Currently working on that behind the scenes right now. I think we should have that
this week.
It'll be up this week, where you can donate to Ryan Barker, and Ann is matching up to $10,000 towards Ryan Barker. Good stuff, Ann.
Love you. Thank you so much.
It's been awesome from the beginning of NIL. Shout out Ann Lush. She is fantastic, and we appreciate you guys tuning in to the Modelo Blue White Player Show. We will see you guys next week.